Here's the stats. An average American spends about 5 hours and 24 minutes on their phone every day. That's 35 hours a week, friends. What would you feel and how would you move with your body? As long as you get the important rocks, right, in your life, is the relationship, is the career, is the health, is the spirituality. 1, 2, 3! Yeah!
Life is like a riddle that hasn't any answers.
You're victorious! How are you gonna get married like this? Come on, show some energy!
Our dream, roller coaster, and classroom.
Because life is finite, we cannot possibly travel to every single place on earth. We cannot taste every single recipe. It's gonna wake up your soul, it's gonna wake up your heart. What did God create? He created time. Let's go! Show me some energy, let's go! Lights. Let's go! Jump up and down! Give high five to your neighbor. Let's go. I appreciate all of you that you are participating full out. I know sometimes you might feel a little social confined. That's why we have the mechitza here, so everybody have their space, everybody feel comfortable, nobody thinks, oh, what is the girl thinking about me when I go like this, you know, and what is the boys are thinking when I go like this. Everybody could be themselves 100% and feel comfortable and unleash. So first of all, I'd like to thank Hashem for giving me the opportunity to learn with you tonight. It's a big privilege for me and a great honor. I'd like to thank RAJE. RAJE is one of the most amazing organizations I know. And especially, I'd like to thank Ilana. Ilana, thank you so much for taking the lead and initiative for this project. This is not easy. I know it's taking a lot of time. And I know a lot of the food that you set up yourself and you prepared. Thank you so much. It's really big deal. Okay, so my name is Ephraim Ilyaguev. I was born and raised in Moscow. I came here in 2001. I studied in yeshiva for a few years. I got a college degree in accounting. I work full-time as an accountant directly under CFO of a real estate company. We own and manage over 130 commercial and mixed-use buildings. I am also a co-founder and a rabbi of an organization called Beit Juro. I'm a husband, father of 4 wonderful kids. And my daily routines include learning Torah. I have a chavruta in the morning, chavruta at night, praying 3 times a day, exercising daily, working full time. And it takes a lot of time. And one of the reasons why I get to manage all that time and get so much things done in my days is, number one, I don't watch TV, I don't watch movies. I made this decision back in 2016. We're going to talk more about it. And number two, we don't have internet at home. That's another decision we made about 3 years ago. My wife and I, when we moved to Marine Park, we made a conscious decision. We're not going to have internet at home. We have internet at work. We still have smartphones. So I'm heavily considering switching to kosher phone. But we're going to talk about different ideas connected to time management based on the modern day experts and based on the ancient wisdom of the Torah. So we're going to get the best of both worlds. And me being working in a business world and a corporate world for so many years, I see that side of the life and the reality. And being the rabbi of community, I interact a lot with the Talmudic texts, and I get to see that the sources. So we're combining the best of both worlds. And I hope to bring you value here tonight. I appreciate that you took out the time. I know it's a Sunday afternoon. Everybody has things to do. It's a nice weather. You could be swimming on a beach right now, or drinking beer, or hanging out with friends. But you chose to be here, and I hope to bring you value, and I hope the lessons that we learned here tonight together will serve you for the rest of your life. So why were we jumping and dancing? It seems like madness, it seems like craziness. I'm sure a lot of you heard about a person called Tony Robbins. You ever heard? Anybody? Who heard of Tony Robbins? Okay, 3, okay. He's one of the most productive, most proficient and specialized people in terms of in the area of self-development. He makes seminars which are attended about 10,000 people. That's the one I attended in West Palm Beach about 3 years ago. It's a 4-day seminar. The first night, you walk on the coals, hot burning coals. You know, he really tells you different systems, different psychology tools. And one of the things he does is this. He helps you to get into a peak state. There's a concept called physiology. Physiology means that our body is connected to our emotions. Meaning every time we do some kind of motion, we could create an emotion. So when I go like this, whoop, something feels different inside. And when I go like this, how are you? I feel also very different. So the way we speak and the way we talk and the way we move our body impacts the way we feel inside. Agree or disagree? Just look at the wedding, or look at the party. You see, people are dancing and they're feeling happy. So sometimes we are in control of our emotions, and when we feel happy, we have great interactions, we can get a lot of things done. When we feel sad, we don't want to do anything. True or not true? True, of course. When we feel sad, disappointed, angry, we don't want to do anything. So what time management can we talk about when we're just not in the mood? But we can actually get ourselves in the mood. We don't always have the control over our emotions, but what we do have a control over is our body. Everybody raise your right hand. Oh, how were you able to do that? Everybody snap your fingers. How were you able to do that? The reason you're able to do it because you're in control of your body. You can tell your body, raise your leg, and the body listens to you. But if you tell your body, feel happy, the body could tell, your brain could tell you, well, too bad, I'm not in the mood. I just don't feel happy. But if you start dancing and acting with your body as if you're feeling happy, the body sends message to the brain, and you actually start feeling happy. Okay, so this concept is called physiology. So we have the power. This is based not just on the modern day research. This is based on ancient books. One of the books is called Mesilat Yesharim. Today is not the topic, and the hour is very short, so I didn't bring you all the sources. When I do a 3 or 4 hour seminar, I break it down for you. But I just want to introduce you to a concept and explain to you why I make you jump and why I ask you to play full out and to dance and to listen to music. And now in a few minutes, I'm gonna ask you to create your personal move and your personal sound of victory. And through that move and sound of victory, you will be able to get into your peak state almost instantly. How's that sound? Moo. I see you're excited. Okay. All right, here it is. Everybody please rise. Stand up. So now I want you to think for a second about the moment in your life when you felt great about yourself, when you felt confident, when you felt victorious, you felt brave. Maybe there was a scenario where you were going to take out a girl and you were going to ask her on a date, and you were convinced she's going to say no, and she said yes. What is that feeling inside? How would you move your body in that moment? Or maybe there was a final exam that you thought you failed it, and then you get the grade and you got an A-. What would you feel and how would you move with your body? And what is that sound that you would make? Okay, just think about a situation in your life where you were victorious, when you accomplished something, when you felt great about yourself and you felt confident. What did your body do? What is that sound? Okay, on a count of 3, I want you to create that move and that sound. Okay, just think about it for a second, and then on a count of 3, we're going to do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes! Oh, guys, come on. Give me some energy, boys. They learn from the girls. Learn from the girls. Look, the girls are much better than you. Come on. You're victorious. How are you going to get married like this? Come on, show some energy. Okay, on a count of 3, think about, is your body, what does that move? Is it like that? Is it like this? Is it like, wah? Think about it and do it. Okay, and that is going to help you to get into your peak state. It's going to wake up your soul. It's going to wake up your heart. On the count of 3, okay? No cheating this time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Okay, that was good. Now I need you to double the energy. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! All right, now we're ready. Now you're ready. Okay, sit down. remember your move, and remember your sound. We're going to do this throughout the seminar. Now, we're ready to start learning. Right now, all of this was just introduction. Tonight's topic is time management. It all starts in the beginning. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim et haaretz. God created in the beginning of His creation of heaven and of the earth, He created time. According to Vilna Gaon, according to Aderet Eliyahu, this pasuk, by the way, has hundreds of commentaries. Just on the Sefaria, if you look, is I think 485 commentaries just on this pasuk. It's an unbelievable amount of information we have on the first verse of the Torah. Bereshit bara, in the beginning of God's creation of heaven and earth, what did God create? He created time. And there's one thing we have to understand, that God is not subject to time. There's no past, there's no present, there's no future for God. He's Adon HaKol, He's the master of everything. Haya, He was, Hoveh, He's here now, Ve'iyeh, and He will always be. For God, there's no such a thing as time. The time created for us. God created this little box called time. He made it finite. He made us finite. He made us limited so we can start making choices. Because life is finite, we cannot possibly travel to every single place on earth. We cannot taste every single recipe. We cannot meet every single person there is. We cannot have every single experience or read every single book. We're limited. We're not going to live here for thousands of years. And because we're limited, we have to start now making choices. We have to decide what we want from our life and start heading towards that direction. So now we're going to do an exercise. As I told you guys, this is not a class, this is a seminar. That means that we're going to do very interactive. Okay, if you need a flip chart, clipboard, you can take one. Okay, take pen and papers. Can I get a volunteer to give out the pens? Thank you very much. And we're going to do an exercise now. I'm going to ask you to write something down. Friends, as much as you participate, as much you're going to benefit. You're here already. You might as well play full out. Get the most for your buck. Okay, so I want you to write down, take a minute to write down, finish the phrase. Life is like a what? What is life like? If somebody asks you to summarize life, your child is telling you, Daddy, Mommy, what is life like? An alien came from a different planet and he tells you, Emil, Michael, Siroja, tell me, what is life like? You need to summarize it in 1 or 2 or 3 words. Life is like a what? Okay, give me 3 options. Life is like a what? Okay, who wants to share? Your name?
Oh yeah, my name is Joseph. Yeah, we compare life to be like running without the option of stopping.
As what?
So like running.
Running.
Without the option of stopping. You don't have the option to stop. You gotta keep running.
Very interesting. Okay, anybody else? Please introduce yourself and tell us what you have.
My name is Juliana. I said life is like a game of whack-a-mole because once you get something done, there's always new things popping up.
All right, it's a little bit similar to what Joseph said. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Please, your name and what do you have?
My name's Eliza. The 3 words that came to mind are dream, roller coaster, and classroom.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Anyone else? I'll take one more volunteer, please.
My name is Julian, and I have life is like a riddle that has many answers.
Beautiful, beautiful. Boys and girls, I'm sure a lot of you wrote other good stuff. This is very interesting. Let's hear from somebody who understood life better than all of us together. David HaMelech, King David. King David was an extremely productive person. He was a musician, he was a poet, he was a warrior, he was a rabbi, he was a king, he was a father, he was a husband of quite a few wives. He had a busy life, okay? He fought on many different fronts. Now, this is how he summed it up. Adam lehevel dama. Man is like a breath, like vapor, is like breath. That's it, this is man-like. His days are like a passing shadow. That's how he summed up life. I'm sure all of your answers are correct. That's his version of life is like. Life is like a passing shadow. And the Chachamim, our sages, explained, what does that mean? Not a shadow of a wall, because that moves very slowly. Right, as the sun goes through its trajectory over the day, it does move, but very slowly. And not like a shadow of a tree. It's like a shadow of a flying bird. That's how fast life is. Life is like a shadow of a flying bird. That's how he summed it up. Which is a little bit depressing, because next time you see a shadow of a flying bird, just think about that pasuk, think about that verse. It goes by very quickly. We were children, we blink our eyes, we're graduating high school. We blink again, we're already 30. Blink again, your grandfather, grandmother. Life goes by very quickly. And because it goes by very quickly, we have to take charge of it, of that time that we're given and we've been privileged in this life, and we have to make the most out of it. That's our job. Because before we blink our eye and we open it again, it might be too late. So aren't you lucky that you came here tonight? Right? So we can all wake up, get into our peak state, decide what we want from this life, and get going and get busy. Okay, so because life is too short, we need to utilize every moment possible to get the most out of it. So we're going to focus on 2 units. Unit number 1 is that we have to decide what we want. Channel our energy to what matters the most. We got to get clear goals, decide exactly what we want, and move towards that. The unit number 2 is that to eliminate all the distractions. All the commitments that are not serving our purpose in this life, which are not in line with our mission. As Jim Rohn likes to say, don't let your mouth overload your back. You know, if we always say yes, 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 yes to everything, we might not say yes to our family, we might not say yes to exercising, and we might not say yes to learning Torah and personal growth, which are all important things that have to take priority. So again, unit number 1, we have to decide where we want to go, our destination. Unit number 2 is to move away all the distractions from our path. So far, so good? So far, so good? Yeah. Okay, good. Guys, let's say yes! Yes! Okay, very good. Thank you. Next. All right, so train yourself saying all the time, what is the best use of my time right now? Okay, this is another thing I learned from Tony Robbins. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. You could make an emphasis on different words in the same sentence and will change its meaning. Okay, so we're gonna practice this 5 times, and we're gonna do emphasis on different words every single time. Okay, what is the best use of my time right now? Let's try this. 1, 2, 3.
What is the best use of my time right now?
Okay. Let's try something else. What is the best use of my time right now?
What is the best use of my time right now?
Excellent. What is the best use of my time right now?
What is the best use of my time right now?
Okay, the next one, I'll let you decide what you want to make emphasis on. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And another creative time, just so it sticks to our brain. One more time, please.
What is the best use of my time right now?
Okay, so if we keep asking this question ourselves throughout our day, we'll get good answers, because our brain is like a Google engine. If you ask Google, what's wrong with Israel? You're going to get a long list of things. But what if you ask Google, what's beautiful about Israel? You're going to get a long list of things. And so the way we phrase our questions is very important. So if you keep asking yourself, what is the best use of my time right now? Maybe it's not scrolling through social media. Maybe it's doing push-ups. Or maybe it's reading Tehillim. Or maybe it's picking up a phone and calling my mom. What's the best use of my time right now? It's a very powerful question. And if you walk away just with this question and you keep asking yourself this question, you can get very far. Okay, so know what you want, decide what is important to you. This is from Misilat Yesharim, the beginning of all the beginning. Can I get a volunteer to read? Anybody? Thank you very much. Your name?
Alec.
Alan?
Alec.
Alec, how about, please.
The foundation of piety and the root of the perfect service of God is for a man to clarify and come to realize as truth what is his obligation in this world and to what he needs to direct his gaze and his aspiration in all that he dwells all the days of his life.
Okay, who can summarize this in one sentence? It's a complicated phrase.
To actually think about what you're doing.
Yes, you have a clear picture. Once you have clear picture where you want to be, that's power. That's power. Clarity is power. Maybe you want to jot this down. Clarity is power. Thank you so much. Once you know exactly what you want to go, you can just go there. If you think you want to go to Florida, you start driving to Florida, and then in the middle of your drive, you said, maybe I should go to South Carolina. So you start driving towards South Carolina. And then you said, maybe I should see Mount Rushmore. And you start driving in a different direction. And you know, after 3 weeks of driving, being indecisive, you're going to end up nowhere. Because there's no clarity and there's no decision. And once you have a clear decision where you want to be, you just start moving towards that decision, towards that clear goal, you're going to get very far. Okay, money is liquid, time is even more liquid. You know, one guy, you ask him, okay, so where your money goes? He says, I don't know, it's like water, it slips through my fingers. I said, whoa, we would like you to run our company, sir, right? No. Right? The person, ask Ilana, do you know where the RAJE's money goes? She'll tell you every single penny, maybe not a penny, but to the dollar, exactly where money goes in RAJE. Because where you have a strong CFO like this, you know exactly where the money goes. Then the organization can strive, the organization can become strong. But if you don't know where your money goes, that's bad news. And money goes by very quickly. I want to share with you a story. Actually, somebody I know very well. A single mom, she has a son. She and her son, they bought a house outside of Moscow, a beautiful summer house. And they bought it with a mortgage. She was doing very well, but then, you know, things changed. She wasn't making as much money anymore. And she felt like she needs to sell her apartment in Moscow, so she could pay for that house and buy a smaller apartment in a different neighborhood, cheaper neighborhood. So what happened to her, because her son was also on the deed, when the bank was wiring the money, it wired in two different accounts, into the mother's account and into the son's account. Now the son had an issue. Hi, Albert. The son had an issue. He had a gambling issue. He had a drinking issue. And he liked to party. Okay? And he also owed a lot of money to a lot of people, which usually goes together. So when he got so much money in his bank account, he's like, oh my God. His brain turned off and his animal instinct turned on. And his mom is like, could you wire the rest of the money into my account? We need to buy another real estate. He's like, yeah, mom, I spoke to the bank tomorrow, next week, so there's problems. Meanwhile, he's having a great time. You know, he's gambling, he's drinking, he's taking out all his friends to a restaurant. And before you know it, the money is gone. Most of the money is gone. And until she realized it was already almost too late. Why am I telling you this story? The story is a metaphor. Because all of us have 24 hours a day. And sometimes we feel like there's not enough time. Well, the guy next door is doing everything you want to do, everything you have on your list, he's doing it, or she's doing it. She has just as much time as you do, just as much time as I do. We all have 24 hours a day. You know what's 24 hours a day? That's 1,440 minutes a day. We're all millionaires. Money, time, name it, our resources, they can become liquid if we don't take our resources and direct them and solidify them. If she took that money and she bought real estate, the money would not go through, it would not slip through the fingers. So this is a very important point here. You have to know your goals, you have to know what you want, because otherwise your money is going to be wasted and your time is going to be wasted. We're going to see more about this later. You hear where we're going so far? Goals is just unbelievably important. So now this is the projection. You have a goal. Once you have a goal, you have a game plan. You know, goal is basically what you want from life. Game plan is how you're going to get there. This is your roadmap. And then the game plan, you could break it down further into daily tasks. This is the to-do list. This is very simple stuff here. So this is from Brian Tracy. Every minute you spend in planning saves you 10 minutes in execution. Guys, just think about it. Every minute you spend in planning saves you 10 minutes in execution. This is the best of the time management. Once we start planning, we can execute. But if we don't plan, it's very hard to execute. It's like, okay, Tuesday morning, let me do my coffee, let me check my email. Okay, so what I actually need to do today, let me think about it. And before you know, it's lunchtime. What are you doing for lunch? Where are we going for lunch? And then it's like, oh, it's 4 o'clock. I have to start wrapping up my day, and that repeats itself, right? But a person, Monday night, he sits down, he said, okay, what I need to do tomorrow, what I need to do this week, Sunday night. Before he starts his week, he said, this is my plan for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He spends 10 minutes planning, half an hour planning, he gets so much more done. Okay, I need a volunteer to read. Somebody who didn't go yet. Anybody? Howard.
Rabbi Hoshea the Great introduced us to the following idea. The Torah is saying, I was the tool, craft of the Holy One, blessed be He. The way of the world is that when a flesh and blood king builds a palace, he does not build it based on his own knowledge, but rather based on the knowledge of the craftsman. And the craftsman does not build it based on his own knowledge, but rather he has plans on sheets and tables by which to ascertain how he should build its rooms, how he should build its how he should build its doors. So too the Holy One, blessed be He, looked into the Torah and created the world.
Guys, God has a plan. Do we have a plan? That's the question. If God has a plan, do we have a plan? Does God need a plan? Just almighty, infinite intelligence. Does he need a plan? Why does he forget things? Does he need an assistant? Does he need a secretary? What's going on here? So God doesn't really need a plan. This Medrash is coming to teach us something. If you want to build a palace, you don't just go out there and it's like, I feel like building the most beautiful palace, let's go. No, that's not how it works. You need to have a plan. You need to have an architectural design. You need to get schematic design. You need everything. I used to work in the construction company. You come to the construction site, you have these huge plans there, and all the time they see the minute details. There's doors, there's windows, there's exact distance. This is where you put the bathroom. This is where you put the electric line. This is where you put the plumbing. Everything has a detail. And if we don't follow the plan, it's very hard to build something beautiful and something complicated. So the God is teaching us how to live our life. Look at this, the Hebrew word benohag shebaolam. Benohag shebaolam, this is how the world operates. This is how the world operates. This is the way of the world. This is the way of the world. So again, the first parasha is just unbelievable. The first parasha, when God created the world, He's teaching us how to create our lives. He says, "V'yi erev v'yi boker yom shlishi." When does Shabbat start? Shabbat is which day of the week? Which day of the week is Shabbat? 6. When we say like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which day is it? Saturday. It's Saturday. Is Shabbat Saturday or not? Saturday. But when does Shabbat actually start? Friday night. So what's going on here? Does it start Friday night or is it Saturday morning? So by us, by the Jewish people, the day starts from the night before. V'hi erev, v'hi boker. It was evening and it was morning. So in order to have a productive morning, you need to do something in the evening because they are connected to each other. And this is where the planning comes in. This is where the planning comes in. When a person plans his night before, when he wakes up in the morning, he can get started on his day. He knows exactly, clearly what he needs to do. Furthermore, his brain is actually digesting the information. It's thinking about it. He's getting it from his conscious mind into his subconscious mind. I used to work with this company called Adam America. It was a great company. A lot of young people. We did a lot of big projects, construction projects. I was overwhelmed with the amount of work. It's just every day you come and throughout your day you get 30 to 40 emails, sometimes more, from project managers, from the marketing, from the auditors, from the bank, from the CFO, everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants something. Send me this document, approve this payment, I need this, that. And it's just like you get bombarded and it's like you don't know where to start. So I felt very overwhelmed when I was working there. And at some point, before I left for the day, I said, wait, it doesn't work this way. I need to do something about it. I made a list of everything I need to do tomorrow. I would review this list. I would take this list with me home. Before I go to sleep, I would look at this list again. And I knew exactly, when I woke up in the morning, I woke up as a different person because I knew exactly what I need to do this day. I had clear objectives, clear plan, and it gave me a lot of power. It gave me a lot of energy because of this pasuk. V'yi'era v'yiboker. There was evening and it was morning. Yom echad. This is one day. This is how we create one beautiful, productive day. Of course, things come up. Of course, you cannot predict all the circumstances. But at least you have a solid foundation. At least when things are being thrown at you, you could decide at the moment and say, no, I have my priorities. Or you could say, yeah, this is more urgent, more important. I'll handle this. I'll take this task. But at least in the back of your mind, you know exactly what you need to do. Every night we say the following in our praise. Umisader et kohavim. That Hashem puts the stars in a certain order. What's the word seder in Hebrew? Order. Thank you very much. Right? We have a Passover seder. There's a clear order. There's 15 steps that we take on Passover night. There's seder. So there's actually seder to the universe. When God created the universe, He didn't just create it haphazardly. There's a very clear order. There's a very clear interrelationship. There's a clear harmony. Umisader et kohavim b'mishmerotehem. Hashem organizes the stars and puts them in order. Every star has a label. Every star has a function. Every star knows how to communicate to each other. There's order. Now there's a rabbi, they called him the Altar of Kelm, Rav Simcha Zissel Ziv. He was very much into this concept. He was obsessed with this concept, the concept of order. He appreciated the clarity of mind. He could have learned for 12 hours straight. 12 hours straight, doesn't matter what season it is, winter or summer. And one time he walked into a dormitory and he saw shoes being disorganized. The one slipper standing like this, another slipper standing like that. And he flipped out. He came to Bet Midrash, he came to the study hall. He said, everybody stop what are you doing? An urgent matter, I want to communicate to the Talmidim, to the students. And he was crying. He said, Rabotai, my dear students, what about the Seder? What about the order? What about the organization? He said, how can one slipper be this side and the other is like, how come it's not together? How can it be? And he felt this is more important than everything else they were learning. He said, Umisader et kohavim, Hashem organizes the stars, He puts them in order. How can we not have order in our life? And by the way, before some of you start feeling bad about themselves and having something similar in their home, some people are born more organized. They have a more tendency towards being organized, and some people are not. But at least we need to know the benchmark. This is where we're aiming. We wanna know clearly what Hashem wants from us. If Hashem is planning, like we saw before, He created the Torah, He looked at the Torah, and He said, this is the plan. I'm going to look at the Torah, I'm going to use it as my craftsman tool, and He created the world based on His Torah. So if Hashem is organized, we need to be organized. We need to have a plan. Mahu afata. What is He? So too. We have a mitzvah, v'halachta b'drachav, to follow Hashem's ways. Just like Hashem is merciful, just like Hashem is patient. We need to be merciful, we need to be patient, and we need to be organized. How cool is that? All right, this is what we're going to do. Before some of you fall asleep, I told you this is a seminar, this is not a class. This is what we're going to do. In order the information sticks to your mind, and in order you take practical steps, we're going to break up into partners, and you're going to pick somebody you don't know, somebody from the crowd you don't know, and you're going to tell them 3 things you learned so far from the first unit. 3 things you learned so far today, could be anything. 3 things you learned so far today and how you're going to apply it. Okay, so 3 things you learned today and how you're going to apply it. And then you're going to switch roles. Let's just read the stats. The stats is shocking. Each day, typical office employee checks email 50 times a day and uses instant messaging 77 times. This is straight from Google stuff. Researchers found productivity dropped as much as 40% when subjects tried to do 2 or more things at once. So forget about multitasking. Pick the most important item and focus on it. Focus on it 100% until you get it done. Once you finish it, move on to the second most important item. As the Brian Tracy likes to say, eat the frog first. If you have to eat a frog that day, start your day by eating the frog. Because that's going to be the worst thing you ever done. And then that day, and then you can move on to the other stuff. But whatever is the most important item on our plate, usually this is the most high-paying item on our plate. And we don't want to do it because it's difficult. It's difficult and it's uncomfortable. But we need to focus on that item and forget about multitasking. Get that done. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, Yaakov Avinu, I need a volunteer who wants to read in English.
The employer is warned not to steal the wage of the poor person or to withhold it from him. The poor person is forewarned not to steal from the work due his employer and neglect his work slightly here and there, spending the entire day in this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, what it's saying is that Yaakov Avinu, who was working for a shepherd, Avraham was self-employed. He was an entrepreneur. He had his own livestock. Yitzchak also was an entrepreneur. He had his own fields. Yaakov was an employee. He would work for somebody until he got his own business. He worked for Lavan. Lavan was the most terrible employer you could think of. He was a cheater. He was a swindler. He was a crook. Name it. He even got involved in his personal life. You know, he got him to marry two sisters instead of one. Okay, so Lavan was terrible. Despite that, Yaakov said, I'm working for the guy. I'm going to give him 100% of my energy. I'm going to give him all the time that he's paying. I'm not going to waste it left to right. I'm not going to check my news while I'm working for him. I'm not going to check my WhatsApp. I'm not going to take personal phone calls. If something goes wrong, I'm going to take full responsibility. They just don't make employees like that anymore. Yaakov was just unbelievable employee. And the Rambam tells us, you know why he became wealthy? Because he was extremely dedicated, he brought value, and God saw his effort, and God rewarded him in this world and in the world to come. He said, you were so honest, you worked so hard. Here, my son, I'm going to send abundance your way. And Jim Rohn likes to say that we don't get paid for the time. We get paid for the value we bring to the marketplace. But if somebody is paying for our time, we cannot sit there and waste that time. That's called stealing. That's called stealing. And it's a big challenge because we live in a generation where we're just extremely distracted. It's just the technology we have these days is an unbelievable blessing, but it's at the same time it's an unbelievable challenge. So this is another item from Jim Rohn. Something will master and something will serve. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Okay, so these items that we have over here is supposed to be our slave. It's supposed to be our servant, but instead it's becoming our master. Anybody felt like that? Okay, you could be honest, guys. You don't have to. Okay, this is a really big challenge. Here's the stats. An average American spends about 5 hours and 24 minutes on their phone every day. That's 35 hours a week, friends. It's roughly 35 hours a week. Imagine if instead of that time that we're spending on our phones, we would get an extra job, or like a part-time job, or we were reading on self-development, reading on relationships, reading on the stock market, reading on something, or we're exercising. This is a precious time. This is our life. Friends, life is like a shadow, passing shadow. Remember David HaMelech in the beginning of our class? Life is like a passing shadow. And it seems like we're spending our days and minutes and hours on our gadgets. 57% of Americans consider themselves as phone addicts. This is unbelievable. More than half of the Americans feel that they're addicted to their phones. So we live in a very interesting generation where we have to take charge of our time like never before. They never had these issues before. We're the generations that we have to take charge of our time because otherwise it's just going to go to waste. And you know what? It's very easy to be competitive. In this day and age, if we wake up after today's seminar and we take charge of our time, we can go a lot further than most of our peers because they didn't come tonight and they don't know about this, but you guys came, so you can raise your right hand, please. Raise your right hand. Pat yourself on the back. Okay, say good job. Say I'm amazing. Okay? And sometimes we all need a pat on the back. I'm amazing, okay? Okay, so what do we do about this? What do we do about this? So again, your phone is here to serve you, it's not to be your master. So if he turns into a master, you got to put it back in its place. You know, if you have a bully, the only way to fight the bully is to hit him back in the face because otherwise he if you tell him, listen, let's be peaceful, we'll, you take part of the land, I'll take part of the land, we'll celebrate each other's holidays. He said, no, the bullies don't understand this. They're thinking you're weak. Okay, so if you have a bully, call the phone or an iPad or what else, you got to put it back in its place. And sometimes you could just leave it at work. Sometimes you could take out the SIM card. I know a guy that actually switched to a kosher phone for sometimes, and what's a kosher phone? For those of you that don't know, you can only make phone calls, and some kosher phones you could also text. There's nothing else is there. Now they have different variations. Maybe you can get a GPS, but
You get a filter.
or you could put a filter in theory, right? You could put a filter. If you really want to go around the filter, you could find, recently I found a way that you could remove YouTube from your phone. Not to remove, but you can disable it. But you know what? The next 5 minutes, I realized you can go on Chrome and you can watch the same videos. Okay, so if you have a filter, sometimes if you really want something badly enough, you'll go around the filter. But if you leave it at work and you come home and suddenly, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this free time? Maybe I should read a book for the first time in a long time, or maybe I should go to sleep early, get some good night's sleep without being interrupted. There's a lot of stuff we could do. Shabbat is your 24-hour heaven. Okay, 24-hour heaven for Shabbat is unbelievable. We're so lucky. We're so lucky because we're Jewish. And because we're Jewish, we have something nobody else has. It's called Shabbat. And in today's generation, when we keep Shabbat, the Shabbat keeps us. We live in an unbelievably fast-paced generation. It's very hard to keep up with everything going on in the world. We get overwhelmed by the amount of information that is coming our ways. We're being bombarded with news, with this and that. And it's very, very easy to get overwhelmed. But whoever keeps Shabbat, this is his safe place. He says, Shabbat, even if Mr. Biden wanted to get a hold of me, or Mr. Trump wanted to get a hold of me, they can't. My phone is off. Nobody can get through to me. It's me and my family and God. I go to the shul, I relax. It's just the clarity of mind is unbelievable. There's no fog, there's no background noise. It's clear, it's like a clear sky. No clouds. It's unbelievable. Literally, we live in a cloud, This iCloud, this cloud, everything is in a cloud. But Shabbat comes, the only clouds we're looking at is the clouds that Hashem created. And then after 24 hours of being detoxed, of having 24-hour detox, this is what it is. This is detox, right? You can come home and you start your week with a fresh breath, and you can get strong, and you can go for it. TV is almost like a thing of the past. But as of 2023, still, you have an average American is spending about 182 minutes a day, or 3 hours and 2 minutes a day. It's 3 hours a day on TV, which is 21 hours a week. By the way, I had this problem. I never had TV. I never had like dish or cable, thank God. But when I was working, I started working full time. I came home overwhelmed after a full day's work. I was working in public accounting, and would work on Sundays 6 days a week. During busy season, stay late. It was hard. It was hard. You come home, you want to relax. Whoever feels this way, that you come home, you just want to relax. Anybody? Or is it just me? Okay, so actually we have some people. Everybody else is either not listening or shy or not being honest. Okay, so thank you. Sometimes you come home, you just want to relax. You don't want to read, you don't want to do exercise, you just want to relax. Okay, so this is what I did. My wife and I, after we put the kids to sleep, would lay down, open the laptop, and relax, watch a movie together. And there was a show back then called Kuchnia. I don't know if anyone watched it. Okay, it was a fun show, a Russian show. It's like 30-40 minute episode. You watch one, and they always end up with something intriguing. It's like Santa Barbara when I was a child. There's always something. What's gonna be next? Oh my God! Let's just watch the beginning of the next episode. Okay, let's watch another episode, and then we'll watch another episode. And at some point, I was like, okay, I'm 32 years old. I'm broke. I'm not exercising. I'm not reading. I'm not learning Torah. I'm a rabbinical graduate. People call me rabbi. I'm involved in the community. I'm barely learning. Maybe half an hour on the train on the way to Manhattan, half an hour on the way back. And I was very despised with this state of being. And it's like, what's going on here? And then, look at the statistics. We're talking about 21 hours a week of wasted time. What are we going to do? So I decided then, I said, I'm not going to watch movies anymore. And by the way, my wife was very upset with me. She's like, okay, that wasn't part of the deal. Okay, when we got married, we weren't that, we didn't have this issue that we're not going to watch movies together. What are we going to do now? Like, what? You dumping me? Like, now I'm going to watch movies by myself? We're not even going to finish the season of Kuchnia? Like, what's going on here? I was like, honey, I had enough. And I wrote myself an email, by the way. And this is one of the good things to know. Once you have an emotional state ready and you want to make some kind of decision, it's good to put it down on paper. Because a month later, you're going to feel like watching a movie. You're going to feel like eating sugar. Whatever decision you made, you're going to feel like breaking in. Because now you're in a different state. Right? We're talking about states in the beginning. When you're in your peak state, you say, forget it, I'm going to do it, no more movies, I'm going to earn more money, I'm going to learn more Torah, that's it, it's going to be amazing, I'm going to get more sleep, finally. And then a month later, you come home, it's like, I'm overwhelmed, I want to watch a movie. Right? So what do? But if you make a decision, you write yourself, that's what I did. I just took out my phone and I wrote myself an email. It's like, bam, 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 bullet points, why am I doing this decision? I had very clear reasons why I was doing it, and I wrote it to myself. And now, a month later, when I don't feel like sticking to this decision anymore, I can pull out my email and I'm go through it. Okay, let me see. I feel like I'm being influenced by the values and images of those movies I'm watching, and I don't want to observe these values, I don't want to observe these images. That was bullet number one. Number two, I'll get more sleep. I'll get to you in a second, okay? I will allow myself to, will give me clarity. I remember after watching those movies, you go to sleep, and usually the last thing you watch is playing in your mind. And you wake up in the morning, it was digesting. It's like you eat something before you go to sleep, it's digesting in your stomach the whole night. The last thing you watch before you go to sleep is digesting in your brains the whole night. All right, so you wake up, and you're thinking about Kuchnia, or whatever other movie you've been watching. And if you're watching a violent movie, or movies that that don't have very good values. Most movies don't have very good values. The pushing, affair, violence, money, materiality, this, that. We wake up and we're digesting these values. I'm just like, forget it, I don't want it. Okay, I want you to think about 10 things that are most important in your life, things that you might be doing already, or things that you want to do. Okay? Things that you're doing already, or things that you might want to do. I put some ideas on the board if you're struggling with that, but you can obviously encourage to write your own list, your personal list, things that the most important things in your life. Самые важные вещи в вашей жизни, 7-10 вещей. Anything that you want to fill up your life, occupy your life with. Okay? Don't think about it too much, just jot it down. Could be career, could be traveling, could be spending time with your kids, or dating, reading, playing a musical instrument, learning a language, keeping Shabbat, praying, learning Torah. Whatever your priorities are, whatever your priorities in life are, exercising, whatever you feel is important, 7 to 10 things. Make a list of what you want in your life on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. What is it that you want from your life? What do you need to do, or what you want to do on a daily basis? Okay, budgeting is not a bad idea. Starting or optimizing a business, looking for a new job, putting on tefillin, volunteering, helping out RAJE, setting up, cleaning up, Shabbatons, fundraisers. It's very important to be involved in the community. Okay, now I want you to put which DA, next to the things that you're already doing. Okay, from that list, things that you're already doing. Let's say you put exercising as one of your most important things in life, and let's say you're doing it already. Da stands for DA, doing already. And things that you're not doing yet, you could put niet. Niet means not enough time. Okay? Niet means it's an acronym, not enough time. Da или нет? Yes or no? Are you doing it already or not yet? Because you don't have enough time. All right. who can share their thoughts? Who can tell me what they have not enough time for? Please. Here. Say your name, please, and your name?
Max.
Max?
Yes. I don't have enough time to have kids or get into politics because of school and also things involving family as well.
What was the last thing?
Things that involve like family and also like social matters too.
Like what?
Like kind of like in the stage I am in, like I'm sort of like still more in like the kind of goofball early 20s stage, I guess we could say.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
21, gotcha. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. Thank you, Max. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, your name? Ian. Say it in the mic.
Ian, I'd say one thing that I really don't have enough time for, that I wish I had more time for, was spending with my family and friends. You only have one life, you gotta live it to the most.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Yes, please. Your name?
Michael.
Let's say in the mic.
Hello. So the things that are most important to me is my family and to keep Shabbos and Jewish holidays.
Things that you're not doing yet. You don't have enough time. You have enough time?
I don't have enough time to play my favorite sport because I spend a lot of time at work.
What's your favorite sport?
I like to play soccer and baseball.
Soccer and baseball. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Anybody else wants to share what they don't have enough time for? Tareen?
I don't think I have enough time to be a good partner, and I don't think I have enough time to really feel love to its fullest extent because I'm so focused on monetary stability and finding fulfillment within myself and finding joy and happiness within myself before I can be a good partner for the one that I really love.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. All right, so these are good ideas. Thank you all for sharing. I appreciate your sincerity and openness. Now, we all have things that we don't have enough time for, but we feel like are important. Anybody, by the way, has a list and you have enough time for everything? Anybody? Okay, I guess you wouldn't come to the time management class. You have everything?
No, it's not that I have everything, but there's things that like I haven't gotten to yet.
Not yet.
Found the person to do these things.
Like, would you like to share? Oh, create a family.
Yeah.
You feel like you don't have enough time to create a family? Oh, you have?
I'm looking,
Yeah.
It hasn't come my way.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. By the way, guys, tonight is networking. You could meet friends, family, maybe future family. You know, take advantage. This is one of the things RAJE is good for, is introducing and creating new couples. Okay. I'm not putting it on your agenda, but you know, don't exclude this option as well. Okay. I'm not judging anybody. By the way, I'm not judging anybody. But when people say a lot of times, I don't have enough time for something, it usually means that it's not important enough for them. And I'm going to prove this point to you, or maybe not, because there's other approaches, there's other ways to look at the situation. Or sometimes people are just too lazy. You know, people are just too lazy. That's why they say, I don't have enough time. But really, bottom line, they're just too lazy. Or it's not important enough for them, because if it was important enough for them, they would make time for it. By the way, I'm not offending anyone, I'm not judging anyone, but if you have a comment, please share with me, please. Your name?
Well, it's not enough time, but it's not time yet.
No time yet.
Like for having kids, dating, all this stuff, for example, like I think many people abroad, like they want to find and other things, but maybe they're like really focused on
The job.
starting a job right now and trying to like push their level of like I don't know, like financial level.
Right.
And right now that's why they're not yet. It's not time for that yet.
Okay. Thank you very much. Your name? What's your name?
Anna.
Anna, thank you very much. This is an important point Anna made, and we need to address this point. I think what's your name? Serena. Serena also mentioned a similar point that I'm not there yet. I haven't met the right one, or I haven't finished my studies yet. I didn't start working yet. So the Rambam tells us that a person before, he's talking to the guys for the most part, because in the Jewish world, the guy has to provide for his wife. He has the obligation. So he started talking to the guys, and he said, the guys, before you get married, you have to plant a vineyard, which is another word for create a business, something that will produce you fruits and that you could sell and eat, and build a house, and then you can get married. But this item is very complicated because some people don't wait 5-10 years until they finish the school, get enough experience, get some money coming in, they get married right away. Some are happy, some are struggling, some people get divorced. This is a very complicated topic. I could probably spend an hour at least talking about it. When my wife and I got married, I had a degree in accounting. I was in the middle of a rabbinical degree, my second year in the rabbinical school, pursuing a master's degree in Jewish history. I didn't have much money. Like when we got engaged, I had $100 in my account, and we didn't know how we're gonna make ends meet. Thank God she's a very simple, not demanding person, a very understanding person, and we put together our energy, put together our time. We kind of were on the same page where we want to be, and throughout the years, it was very difficult. But I never regretted that I married at that age or that situation. I actually wish I got married earlier. I wish I got married earlier while I was still in the college, because for a number of reasons. Now Hashem has blessed us, and I know many couples that got married early in their life when they didn't have anything, and Hashem blessed them. Hashem blessed them, and they have good cars, and they have good houses, and somehow they're making ends meet. But it's a complicated subject because we need to approach life with common sense. We need to do our absolute best in order to make a living and provide for a family. On the other hand, the temptations that are out there in this world, like pornography and promiscuity and what else, which is very hard for somebody who's, at least somebody who's religious, wants to build a holy life, to wait 10, 20, 30 years until he builds his career and establishes him financially. So it's a complicated question. There's another way to look at it. Let's watch a movie, okay? Let's turn off the lights 1 second and make it loud because the sound is very low.
Your name is?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. You have a work life?
I do.
Family life as well?
Mm-hmm.
Children?
Not yet.
Not yet. What's the nature of your work assignment?
I direct an international firm.
An international firm?
Mm-hmm.
So you really are interfacing with all kinds of people in the firm and outside the firm.
That's right.
You want a rich personal life and a rich family life. Do you ever feel like you get bogged down in the thick of thin things?
Yes.
Well, that might be analogous to all these little, small things that tend to fill our life. And that just little by little, they just accumulate. Now, your job, you can't go above this, is to get all those large rocks in the jar. Good luck. What's that one called?
Q2, planning, preparation.
Right. Planning, preparation, prevention, and empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next rock she's putting in there is called relationships and family. We didn't look at that third rock you put in there. That's employment, some key employment issue, and then you put major projects here. I can't get it above there.
I haven't worked it yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. That's called service, community, church. Do you ever feel like this?
Yes.
How many feel like this? By moving the little things around, you might squeeze in one more of those big major things. It's almost. Wow, that is good. You know, if it doesn't fit, force it. Here's something that's called urgent and important. It's a quadrant 1 thing that is blindsiding you, that it's your biggest client, that if you don't get back to that client now, you've given up your vacation. And you have no special block of time just for yourself. I'll tell you what you can do if you want to.
What's that?
You can take a whole different approach. You have a totally fresh bowl. You can work out of a different paradigm altogether.
Well, then I'd rather put these in the bottom and then pour the little pebbles on top.
Employment,
Big opportunity,
big opportunity.
important and urgent, block of time. Those young children keep looking at me. Glad my husband's not here. Now I dump these in there.
Okay? That's great.
Okay, who can tell me what you took away from the video? Somebody who didn't say anything yet? What do you learn from the video? Anybody? Anyone? Oh, Joseph.
Judging by the way big rocks were placed first in the bucket, then the little things, kind of took away the idea of prioritizing the big things first,
Yeah.
and then deal with the little things.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm correct, maybe I'm incorrect.
Okay.
That's the way I understand it.
Very good. Anyone else wants to add? Oh.
I'd have to say I'm changing my approach to things in order to prioritize what's more and most important to me. And then if there is still room, I'm doing the things that are, I guess for lack of a better term, less prioritized or less important. Just trying to find the perfect balance.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Anyone? Max? Okay.
I would say always be open to whatever opportunities come to you. Even like if you're not able to make it for whatever reason, because of time or because you get confused about something, always definitely try to take opportunities, like specifically when it comes to jobs, when it comes to reunions with friends, because like as we get older, it becomes harder to have those.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people just I think especially people in my age range just want to be closed off.
It was interesting to think about how after you put in the little stuff, like you can kind of filter out what you need and don't need. Like some of the little pebbles fell out. You don't need all of them. So you kind of can choose once you have the big priorities.
Thank you very much. This is an amazing point. Exactly. What if you don't feel all the little pebbles in your bucket? So what? Let it go to the side. We don't need all this pebble. We don't need as long as you get the important rocks, right, in your life, is the relationship, is the career, is the health, is the spirituality, everything, whatever your rocks are, right? That's why I asked you to make your list. I'm not telling you what's important to you. Some of you said what's important to you is the relationship or friends, career, whatever is important to you. As long as you put in your bucket the most important things first, then everything else will fall into place. And that's why I said in the beginning that if we don't have enough time for something, that means it's not important enough for us. I'll share with you my personal story. For years, I wanted to exercise. I wanted to exercise, and I felt overwhelmed. I had my family, 3 kids back then, full-time work, community involvement. I just didn't have time to exercise. And then it's not always, you have to go to a gym for an hour, or go to a swimming pool, or go to a yoga class, or whatever your idea of exercising is. I came across a guy, his name is Itzhak Pintusevich, one of my teachers, and he said, you start something small, you do 10 push-ups a day. And I said, okay, for me it works. I don't need to go to gym. All I need is floor. Where can you find floor? Everywhere, right? In the office, at work, at home, in the synagogue, everywhere is floors. You can just lay down, do your push-ups, and that was a way for me to start exercising. Then I added squats, then I added pull-ups, then I added abs, and before I knew it, I was doing, at some point, 90 push-ups every day. I started with 10, I was doing 90 push-ups every day, 60 squats, 30 pull-ups, abs. It's just unbelievable growth. Why? Because he taught me something. It's not all or nothing. It's not about your resources. It's about your resourcefulness. It's about your creativity. It's not either, I don't have the time and that's it. No, you have to find time for things that are important to you. And if you prioritize, you'll find time. It's about being creative. It's as Stephen Covey showed us, a new paradigm, a new bucket, a new way of thinking about things. Okay, so now we have a third option. When we say I don't have enough time, it could mean that maybe the task is impossible. I can break it down. Maybe, when we find a task which is too big for us to handle, to chew, is that we put down our hands. But if we break it down into small tasks, we can conquer it. Or we have to approach it creatively. Okay, now I want to talk about something which is important for us as a Jewish people. For us as a Jewish people, our big rock is learning Torah. Hashem chose us out of all the nations, and He gave us this holy book called Torah, and He said, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Hashem said, before everything else, this is the most important commandment. If you put the learning Torah on one scale and everything else on another scale, the learning of Torah outweighs everything. It outweighs everything. This is what the Ramban tells us, this is what the Chachamim tells us. Why? Because the study of Torah, it will lead us to deeds. So, for example, today we learn Torah. Today you learn about the preciousness of time. Today you learn that the life is like a passing shadow. Today you learn that Hashem created in the beginning, He created the concept of time. You learned a lot of things today, Vihi Erev Vihi Boker. So now you have a new, different way of thinking. You're coming out of here tonight, maybe you will do things differently. Maybe you will prioritize things differently. So the Torah goes into your mind, into your heart, and it transforms you. Now, at some point, my friends and I, we were learning Hilchot Kibud Avayim, the laws of honoring parents. After a few weeks, one of my students came over to me. He said, Ephraim, my relationship with my mother is changing drastically. Why? Because we learned you're not allowed to interrupt your parent. We learned that you're not allowed to contradict your parent. You learned that when your parent walks in, you have to stand up. We learned that you cannot sit on the parent's seat if they have a dedicated seat. We learned all these things, and I started implementing some of them. Why? Because learning leads to action, it leads to practice. It changes the way we think. If somebody was an abusive husband, he comes to Shalom Bayit class, and the rabbi tells him, you have to treat your wife better than you treat yourself. You have to love her like you love yourself, and you have to respect her more than you love yourself. He's like, okay, maybe I should be a little nicer to her. And now suddenly their relationship starts changing. And on and on and on. There's a lot of things that the Torah is changing the way we think, and it leads to action. So this is, if you don't have this on your bucket list, if you don't have this on your list of important things to do, maybe it's time to put it up there. Next slide, please. Can I get a volunteer to read, please? I need a volunteer. You want to read? How about Michael?
Even though it is a mitzvah to study during the day and at night, it is only at night that a person acquires most of his wisdom. Therefore, a person who desires to merit the crown of Torah should be careful with all his nights, not giving up even one to sleep, eating, drinking, talk, or the like. Rather, they should be devoted to the study of Torah and the words of wisdom. Whoever occupies himself with Torah, study at night will have a thread of divine favor extended over him during the day. In contrast, any house in which the word
Put it between the girls and the boys.
at night will be consumed by fire, which need Torah study.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you very much. Akiva, can we get some music going on? We're going to shake it off and we're going to sum it up. Guys, remember, we're going to sum it up. We're going to break up into partners. You're going to tell your partner, pick a buddy, somebody you don't know. You're going to tell them 3 things that you learned in the second unit. Чуть-чуть потише, a little bit lower. Thank you. Lights off, please. 3 things you learned from your partners, from your study. Okay, everybody stand up. Let's shake it off. Let's go. Up, up, up. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Be like children. Forget about the social confines. You're at the wedding. This is your life. Wake up. Fill up your life with energy. Let's go, guys. Woo! Let's go, let's go, let's go, guys! Up, 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 up! Woo! All right, all right, all right. On the count of 3, make you move. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Okay, pick a body. It could be a boy, girl, somebody you don't know. Tell them 3 things you learned. 3 things you learned, and how you're gonna plan, and how you planning to apply it. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Alec DeBorn from RAJE. We just heard a great, not lecture, but an experience from Rabbi Ephraim on time management. And one of the great things that he did in this, like I said, an experience is he really got the crowd going, made it interactive, and it was engaging, and he threw in some anecdotes in his personal life and so forth, and also threw in a lot of Jewish sources as well. So he really honed it home with the Judaism and how to best utilize our finite time in this world. So I think it went great, and the guys loved it.
Hi, my name is Yosef. I'm 36 years old, grew up in Brooklyn. I really am happy today that I came to the lesson that Rabbi Ilyaguev presented to us today. Amazing lesson, a lot of things I learned, a lot of things I took away, and I hope that many of my fellows over here took away something with them too. Very valuable lesson. Thank you.
My name is Eli, and I came to Rabbi Ephraim's lecture about time management, and I want to say one thing. I really enjoyed it. That goes without saying. But the one thing I learned, and the one thing this seminar, this class drilled into me, is you have to be super focused, lasered on your time and about what you're doing with your life. We don't have endless time in this world, and we have to be super focused and super laser focused about what we're doing, what our goals are, what our desires are, and plan the day ahead and execute based on what we want out of life. So thank you, Rabbi Ephraim, thank you, RAJE.
Я для себя подчеркнул очень много новых, интересных и действительно полезных вещей, которые я буду принимать и буду привлекать в свою жизнь.
Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, God. We had the most beautiful session together. We had the most energetic seminar with wonderful ladies, wonderful men. We danced together. We took notes. We learned. We bounced off each other's energy. we brainstormed, and we learned a great amount of information we could apply to our life about time management, how to get most of our life, how to set goals, how to eliminate the distractions, and how to have the most beautiful and achieving life. I wish for you a lot of blessing. Thank you so much for coming.